Hey everyone, my name is Evan, and in today's video, you are going to learn everything you need to know about the Mavic 2 Zoom. We're going to unbox it, set it up, talk about the specs, learn some tips and tricks, and you're gonna see real footage that I've shot on the Mavic 2 Zoom. The Mavic drones are a must for any videographer or travel vlogger. If you just cut in a couple seconds of beautiful drone footage into an average video, the production quality goes up tremendously. For being so small, durable, compact, and light, and affordable, these drones add a ton of cinematic value to your videos. What really sets the Mavic 2 Zoom apart from any other drone is the adjustable 28mm to 48mm optical zoom. The ability to zoom opens up a ton of new features in this drone and allows you to shoot much more cinematic shots, which we'll get into in a minute. But first, let's open it up and unbox it. So the first thing you'll see is the remote control, and if you don't see the thumbsticks, that's because they are now removable and they are attached here on the remote. This is a great new feature and a great idea. This makes the remote even more compact than it already was, and you don't have to worry about the thumb knobs getting stuck or snagged on something in your backpack. So to attach them, you just screw them on like so. And aside from that, the controller is pretty much the same as the original. DJI does make a controller that comes with a screen on it, much like you would see in the Phantom 4 Pro. Apparently it's 2 times brighter than a normal smartphone, so I'm actually gonna end up buying that because one of the headaches with the Mavics is using your phone to fly it. I would rather have my phone out for other things, and I don't like when I get like a text or a call or something while I'm flying my drone, so I'm actually gonna upgrade to that other remote. You have the instructions, which I'll set aside. You have the charging cable and the charging block. So this very simply goes into an outlet. This goes into the brick. This part here connects to the battery. Go ahead and get this thing charging because it does take about 45 minutes to go from 0 to 100%. So that will be the first step, just get this charging. And then also don't forget to charge the remote. So how do you charge the remote on the Mavic 2? Remove this cable here. You flip this out from the brick and you attach it like so. And like I said, you plug this into an outlet and you can charge both the battery and the remote controller simultaneously. You should also have the props. They're very similar to the original Mavic except for one major difference, and that is these winglets. These winglets are like the ones you see on a commercial airliner, and what they do is reduce the turbulence of the high air pressure on the bottom, moving around to the side to the top. That makes the drone smoother, quieter, and more energy efficient. Finally, you have the Mavic itself, and immediately you just feel the quality in this thing compared to the original Mavic. It feels heavier. In fact, it is heavier. It's 905 grams or about 2 pounds compared to 765 grams or 1.6 pounds of the original Mavic. So here I have the original Mavic 1 and this is the Mavic 2 Zoom. And you can kind of see the Mavic 2 Zoom is slightly bigger. Like I said, it's heavier. It feels just more, it feels stronger and better built. This one feels a little bit more plasticky. This just feels like if you were to crash into a tree or something and it would hit the ground, it wouldn't get damaged. The other difference between the original and the Mavic 2 Zoom is the gimbal. And you can see that the gimbal is better built. It's more protected. It's not as fragile as the gimbal in the original Mavic, which was probably my biggest complaint. I actually broke a couple gimbals in the original Mavic and had to send it in for repair because it was so fragile. But this one is better protected and just more sturdy. So to open it up, you first open up this arm, the 2 top arms, and then you swing open the bottom arms. So one of the things that you'll notice is that it has 10 obstacle sensors. 2 in the back, 2 on the bottom, 1 on either side, 1 on the top, and 2 in the front. I think that's 10. But what this does is it makes it so much easier to fly. You can really fly this in confidence when the obstacle sensing is enabled and you don't have to worry about crashing it. So you can focus more on getting your cinematic shots. I should mention that the Mavic 2 Zoom and the Mavic Pro 2 are identical except for the cameras. So all of the specs and things that I mentioned about the flight time will apply to both the Mavic 2 Zoom and the Mavic Pro 2. When it comes to flight specs, compared to the original Mavic, this drone can fly for a couple minutes longer. DJI says 31 minutes, and it can fly a few miles per hour faster. The Mavic Pro 1 can fly around 40 miles per hour. This one can do about 44. So really, the most significant improvements are in the software, the camera's ability to zoom, and the obstacle sensing. So here you have more of the specs. It can ascend at a maximum rate of 5 meters per second. It will fly up to 6,000 meters or about 19,000 feet above sea level. For comparison, the tallest mountain in the United States is Mount Denali, and it's around 20,000 feet. So this thing has no problem reaching high altitudes. And as I mentioned, it has around 31 minutes according to DJI of flight time. However, I think it's closer to probably 26. Just depends on the conditions, really. And here you can see the camera specs. It features a 12 megapixel CMOS sensor, which is actually the same exact sensor as on the original Mavic. So if you were looking for better image quality, you should actually check out the Mavic 2 Pro, which has a Hasselblad camera and a bigger sensor. One thing that's missing from the Mavic 2 Zoom is an adjustable aperture. But as I mentioned, what really sets this drone apart is the 24mm to 48mm adjustable focal length. Once your battery is charged, you can just touch this button here and you should see that the rings go all green. That means it's fully charged. And you just insert it into the Mavic like so. Make sure you hear that click. You don't want this thing to be loose at all. To turn on the drone, you press once and then long hold, and then you'll hear a noise. So press once, then long hold. And you can hear the fans turn on and you hear the drone come to life. To connect the phone to the remote, you're going to need to download the DJI Go 4 app and then attach your drone to the remote. So make sure that this piece where the charging cable is going in is inserted back in to the remote, and you swing this open, and then you connect your phone to the cable here and go ahead and fire up DJI Go 4. The first time you connect the DJI Go app to the remote, you might have to link the remote controller to the drone, and you'll just very simply follow the instructions on the screen, and it's going to ask you to press and hold this button here at the bottom of the drone to link the controller with the drone. The process for turning on the controller is the same as the drone. Press the power button once and then long hold. Connecting the propellers can be a little bit tricky. First, you need to realize that there are two different sets of propellers, one that have a ring and one that does not. The one that has the ring matches to the engine or the motor that has a ring on it also. And this one matches to the motor that doesn't have a ring. And to put them on, you simply push down and then turn clockwise to lock it. And on the one without the ring, you push down and turn counterclockwise to lock it. You should be able to give it a wriggle and see that it doesn't come out. So I'm not gonna show you how to fly the drone in this video. There are plenty of other videos for that, but I will take you through some of the cool modes. So if you tap on the controller button on the left side of the screen, you come to your different modes. The first one I'll talk about is the Dolly Zoom. Dolly Zoom was an effect made popular by Alfred Hitchcock, and basically how it works is as the camera dollies in, it also zooms out. Or the opposite, as the camera dollies back, the camera zooms in. And what this does is it keeps the subject the same exact size while the background either shrinks or gets bigger. To get into Dolly Zoom, you click on the little remote controller icon on the left of the screen. You go to Quick Shots and you click Dolly. You then draw a box around the object you want to do the Dolly Zoom on, and you click Go. And the Mavic will automatically fly backwards while zooming in, and it creates this cool effect that you can see here. Just as a tip, make sure that there's nothing behind you. Even with the obstacle avoidance, you never want to risk it, so just make sure that you have a clear flight path behind the drone before clicking Go. So the zoom feature allows you to get a ton of cinematic shots. If you've ever seen the Jason Bourne movies, with all the establishing shots, they have a telephoto lens mounted on a helicopter, and they zoom in as far as they can while revolving around an object. And what this does is compress the background. It makes the background bigger, and it has a really cool effect. So I'm gonna try to do the same thing here with my girlfriend, Julia. And as you can see, when I'm zoomed in and I'm panning across her, the background is compressed and it has a really cool effect. And here you can see it when I'm zoomed all the way out at 24mm. It just doesn't have that same effect. I'm also gonna do it with this building here. When I'm zoomed in at 48mm, you can see that the background is compressed and there's a ton of movement. So this is one tip on how to get cinematic footage in your videos. The next thing I'll talk about is Hyperlapse. So you click on Hyperlapse, and you can select between a free, a circle, a course lock, or a waypoint. I'm just gonna go ahead and show you course lock. So click course lock, select the direction you want to fly the drone, click lock, select the duration of the video, and click go. Now the drone will slowly fly forward, and it'll take a picture at all of the intervals. And at the end, the software will stitch it together for you. You can see that even in very windy conditions like I have here, that the drone is able to create an awesome hyperlapse. Before I go any further, I'd just like to say if you're enjoying this video and you want to see more tutorials and reviews, please click the like button, click subscribe, and if you have any questions at all, leave them in the comment section below. I respond to every single question. If you're thinking of purchasing the Mavic 2 Zoom, please do so through the affiliate link in the description. Any purchase made through that link will be attributed to my channel, and it really is a big help for funding more videos for you guys in the future. So another really cool feature is active track. Like in the original Mavic, you draw a figure around the subject you want to track, and then you click go, and the drone will automatically fly itself, tracking the subject, and it'll avoid any obstacles in its way. I never like to push things and fly in an area with a lot of obstacles, but it is nice to have this feature anyway, just to have the peace of mind knowing that the drone will avoid any objects in its way. Here you can see I'm flying the drone towards Julia, and it automatically stops when it senses her and it won't run into her. Another really cool thing that the Zoom allows is for a super resolution photo. The camera will capture and patch 9 photos with its telephoto lens, which gives you a 48 megapixel super resolution photo. Compared to ordinary panoramas, the super resolution photo retains the original look of the shooting targets with a much more accurate composition. Another really cool mode is cinematic. And what this does is makes the drone fly in a much smoother way. So the braking speed is decreased and the yaw is slowed down so that there's no sudden jittery movements. It basically gives you a really clean, flowing picture. If you go to quick shot, you have some really cool modes as well. So here's the rocket mode, which basically shoots straight up. Here you have the asteroid effect, which basically shoots up and then takes a panorama and combines it into a really cool video. I really like this. It's really good as an intro for travel videos. One tip I like to share with everyone is that you should really get an ND filter or a polarizing filter for your drone, especially for the Mavic 2 Zoom, because it doesn't have an adjustable aperture. If you're in really bright conditions and you want to follow the 180-degree shutter rule for cinematic video, you're going to have to reduce the amount of light getting into the sensor. Polar Pro has a line of ND filters for the Mavic 2 Zoom, and those are the ones that I use. A question I get a lot is the Mavic 2 Zoom better or the Mavic 2 Pro? And that's really up to you. If you want a higher image quality, then go with the Mavic 2 Pro. If you want the ability to zoom, then clearly go with the Zoom. For me, I think the image quality is good enough. I mean, it is excellent on these drones, so I don't really need the Hasselblad camera. So I personally went with the Zoom. I think that the ability to go from 24 to 48 millimeters just adds so many cool shooting options, and that's why I personally took the Zoom. Hopefully in the future, the Mavic 3 drone will have a bigger sensor and zoom and an adjustable aperture, and they combine it all into one. That's it for today's video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section, and you can support this channel by clicking the like button and subscribe. See you guys in the next video.